All right, now above the bank buttons and above the sample mode buttons, we see that there are 3 more buttons up here. I'm going to talk about 2 of them, and I'll leave the mark button alone for a little while. We see there's a button that says start end. Let me go to one of these samples. I guess this is fine. So this is a longer, sort of like a side-chained noise, dirty vinyl sort of sound, or something like that. And if we go up to start end, in this wonderful OLED screen, it's another big improvement over previous SP samplers. I can see the waveform here. All right. Now, above the display, there's 4 knobs. This is our main volume knob. And these knobs, C1, C2, and C3, will let you control various things that are on the screen, whether they're effects parameters, sample parameters, etc. When you're in the start end mode, C1, this knob controls the start of the sample. Let's say, what if I only want a small piece, right? Well, if that's the case, I can use C3 to adjust the end. And right now you see it says C2 is off. C2 controls the loop, all right? Right now there's no loop engaged. Let's say maybe what I want to do is just take that small piece and make it loop, all right? I want to set the loop point in a place that's a bit more precise, so it'd be nice to zoom in. This encoder knob here, the value knob, is very useful. And also just remember you can push this in as well, okay? Right now I don't want to push it just yet. I just want to turn it so I can zoom in. The last knob I adjusted was the end knob, so it zooms into the end, which is pretty convenient. But I'd actually like to look at the start, so let's go here. And all right. Okay, cool. Let's say now what I want to do is I want to engage a loop. If I turn loop on, now we see C2 says loop, and now there is a little flag with an L. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let's zoom back in. There we go. And now I can determine where the loop will start at. So if I wanted to, let's say maybe I make it start a little earlier. Right? So that's very convenient. What's also nice too is when you go into the start end menu, you have a menu. And if you press the encoder, now you have some destructive options. These aren't things that are just applied temporarily. This will actually change the sample, but you can truncate it, you can normalize, and add emphasis as well. So these are very helpful. If I didn't want the whole sample, I could just truncate it as it is, but I think I'll keep it. All right. Next to that, we have pitch/speed. All right. Now, one thing that's interesting with the SP404, the way it handles tempo is something that you're going to have to get used to, because you can set the tempo for the individual samples. All right. And it will detect the tempo automatically. And you can either use typical pitch shifting, which will change the audio as if it's vinyl, as if you're speeding up or slowing down vinyl. Or you can use a few different time stretching modes. All right. If you have a pattern going, you can make it so that everything syncs to the tempo of the pattern, or you can set the tempo for all of your samples per bank. All right, so you want to think about how you're approaching the way you're using the SP404, which will give you a better idea of how to deal with tempo. As it stands right now, if I simply want to go in here and change the pitch or the speed of a sample, I can just hit pitch speed and adjust the pitch. And we can hear, as I'm adjusting the pitch or the speed, the tempo is changing. Now it's doing that because it's currently in vinyl mode. We can see under pitch it says vinyl. If I want to change this for whatever reason, I can just go ahead and hold shift, and then I have the option to change this from vinyl to backing. You see it says vinyl and then vary. And the vary, basically this is time stretching. So let's say I have it in ensemble. Now if I play this and I change the pitch, okay, the speed is the same, so I can change the pitch independently. Maybe I like that pitch, but I want a different speed. All right, so you have some options there. And last thing I'll mention with that is if you want to change the base tempo, let's say that the SP404 gets the tempo incorrectly, what you can do is here it says BPM set. Right now I have this set to manual. If I want the SP404 to detect the tempo for me, oops, let me go back here and turn the knob. There we go. If I set this to auto and then I click, I can set a tempo range that I think this tempo falls into, and then the 404 will try to detect it for me. I push the encoder, I push again, it detects the tempo, and now everything is based off of that. If that tempo is not correct, I can go to where it says BPM set and change this to manual, and then push the encoder, and now I can go down here and change the tempo myself. All right. Also, you have the ability to change the volume here, and if I hold shift, I can also pan the samples as well. All right. So there's quite a lot, okay? There's quite a lot that you can do here.